I think when it comes to the topic of today's video, the fact that when you search up just family vlogging, these types of results come up, it's definitely something that we need to sit down and have a conversation about. Salutations, sheeple. My name is Samplex0, but you can call me Sami. And today we are going on a rant about how much I dislike family vlogging and just family-based YouTubers in general.
Act like you're crying really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video.
Now, me personally, I haven't been a fan of family vlogging channels ever, for reasons I will try to go over later on in this video. But more recently, more people are starting to join my side of, hey, maybe we shouldn't have kids be on camera 24/7 for our entertainment. With the situation surrounding the 8 Passengers family becoming as viral as it did, I do believe that it's time that we sat down and had a conversation about what can we do about this in general. So, family vlogging, right? Typically, you sit down, you watch a mom or a set of parents sit down and talk about their kids, or more commonly, record their kids throughout their day and showing off quote-unquote how they parent, or, oh look, cute little fun things that my kid has done, or stuff along those lines, right? I would like to believe that that's typically how it starts, but how it goes into is, for some reason or another, parents find out that they are actually getting a lot of views from these vlogging type videos, and they're like, okay, they do what any other YouTuber does, and they start making more and more videos. Their kids being the main focus of it, obviously, because it's your family. How are you supposed to have a family without kids, right? Because that's the only type of family, apparently. And with that, they're constantly making videos, constantly pushing cameras into kids' faces, and in some cases, allegedly adopting kids, possibly just for the sake of the channel. I'm gonna try and keep this video short and sweet because I have a lot to say on this topic, and if I say everything that I want to say about this topic, this video is never gonna get out because I'm gonna be too lazy to edit it. But I believe that the concept of family channels shouldn't be a thing. I don't believe that it's something that you should be able to make money off. If you want to share your life, that's great. If you haven't had kids that are a daily part of your life, that's also great. If you want to talk about them, that's cool, but I don't think you need to have your kids on camera, especially seeing as, for one, if they don't want to record that day, they can't just say no, because how are they going to say no to their parents? From the family vlogging space, we've seen so many pieces of questionable behavior coming out of it. The Ace family.
Ace family.
Just to give it a start. Austin McBroom in particular. I remember a situation a while ago where he brought his niece, who could not have been older than like 2-3 years old, like able to walk but not old enough to be able to comprehend things, that's for certain. He brought his niece into a sex shop and let her buy a phallic-shaped lollipop, and then posted it to the internet like that was supposed to be funny. And before somebody comes and says, oh, but you can't sexualize her, it's a kid. I'm not sexualizing her. Kids should not be sexualized. But there are people on the internet who can and will and actively do sexualize kids. We can't continue going on through the internet as if these types of people do not exist. I remember a few sets of videos a while ago where there were some things going on in a few comment sections where the main focus of the channel was like young girls, right? And just randomly in the comment section, there would be little timestamps. And if you click on those timestamps, these are timestamps were left by like commenters, by the way, not by like the people who made the video. But the commenters would leave these timestamps, and those timestamps would lead to moments that could be seen as suggestive. Kids shouldn't be on the internet. Kids should not be the main focus of entertainment for any way, shape, or form. There is laws in place in Hollywood or big media companies, or like however that entire system works, where there are laws in place to protect kids, to make sure that they are getting a proper amount of education, a proper amount of schooling, and that they're not working long, unreasonable hours. Film companies or whoever the hell is involving children in their media legally have to abide by these rules. There's nothing like that in place for you YouTube. When I was a kid actor. Wow, look at that, fun stuff. I was on That's So Raven. I was in a ton of commercials. I was on this one show called Daddy's Home. I'll put a few clips here up on screen because I managed to find some and I look so cute and so adorable. Doing that in that type of setting was it was hard for me to stay on top of my schoolwork. It was hard for me to do anything in relation to like having any semblance of a normal life, which is important for childhood development, because I was constantly filming, I was constantly recording, to the point where my mom at some point decided, okay, you know what? This would actually be so much easier if you were homeschooled. So I became homeschooled. I would do my schoolwork on trailers and on like while I was on the set, waiting for them to call me or like something along those lines, right? I legally had to be in school some way, somehow, right? And the only way that I could do that was to be homeschooled. And just to like give another example of how difficult it was to have some semblance of a normal life while also doing acting and such, when I was still doing child acting, I have a very clear memory of me and my mom and my older sister going to try and sign my sister up for middle school. I was walking through the middle school with my mom and my sister, and we all got swarmed by kids because they had just, like, my episode from That's So Raven had like just aired or something. So we were swarmed by kids wanting my autograph, which was like, looking back on it, I was absolutely adorable because I was signing everybody's name. I was signing my name on everything people handed to me, and it was like so adorable and all that stuff. If you happen to be one of the people who have my autograph, I would love to see that, by the way. That would be so cute. But that's not the important part, right? The important part is a random extra who showed up on That's So Raven, got swarmed. So I can't imagine how school would be like for these preschoolers, these kindergarteners, these middle schoolers, these high schoolers who happen to have families who have a vlogging channel. And on top of that, having a vlogging channel where your business is constantly being advertised to the internet against your will and against your wishes. And how do I know that it's against their will and against their wishes? I don't really need to look any further than the 8-passenger situation. I don't think I need to go over it because so many other people have covered it already. There are tons of other videos out there. I'm not the best place to look for information, but to quickly cover it, the 8-passengers YouTube channel was a mom, dad, and their 6 kids, and long story short, a bunch of questionable things and clips came out of that situation. A lot of those kids there admitted on their channel that, hey, due to this whole vlogging situation, I can't really have friends because the friends kind of make fun of me or something along those lines, right? And on top of that, another piece of the puzzle that makes me so passionate and so upset about the situation, my mother used to do family vlogging stuff.
If you say your mom, you're fired. My mom? Get out! It was worth it!
We never really got popular. We weren't like doing numbers or anything like that. But I still constantly remember every single experience that we had. A camera being in my face. Constantly, no matter what the situation was, it was in my face. Whether it was my happiest moment, whether it was my saddest moment, whether it was my most embarrassing moment. One of the memories that I have that makes me particularly angry about this situation, I haven't always been very good with cleaning. I'm still not good with cleaning. I have a memory of my mother coming into me and my sister's shared room, which my younger sister messed up very badly, by the way. That room was not my fault, but of course I lived there, so of course it was partially my responsibility. But my mom came into the room recording as if she was going to post this video onto YouTube, right? And the room, complete and utter mess. If I can find the video, which I highly doubt that I'll be able to, I'll try and post it. But to describe it, my mom was recording the room. She was saying things along the lines of, look how disgusting this room is. Look at their faces, everybody on camera. Look at their faces, internet. This is so disgusting and this is so embarrassing. And the sole purpose of her recording that video was to embarrass me, and my younger sister, and was to embarrass and shame me. And while that's probably not the case for every single family vlogger out there, family vloggers who are willing to constantly put a camera into their kids' faces for the sake of making millions of dollars, which they probably won't share much of, if any at all, with their kids. If you're that type of person to do that, I wouldn't be surprised if you're the type of person to record and post things just to shame your kids. Your kids, who, by the way, should not be on the internet for everyone to see. When it comes to this age of the internet, it's very hard to draw the line and establish boundaries when it comes to getting posted on the internet. And that is going to change and be different for pretty much anybody. That's what makes us human. We all have these different things about us that make us unique, that make us different. That may be from our facial features to our personalities to just the way that we experience the world in general. But either way, I do believe that some sort of precedent, some sort of boundary, some sort of law needs to be set into place when it comes to vlogging and putting kids online in general. The same way that it happens with posting, like recording for like mainstream media, we need to have something like that in place for YouTube, for TikTok, for Instagram, because the internet is a dangerous and scary place where dangerous and scary things happen constantly, and constantly exposing yourself to that is one thing. Constantly exposing your kids to that is a complete, total different thing. I'm not too sure exactly what we should do when it comes to this situation, exactly what the guidelines should be, what the rules should be. But I do believe that one place to start, just as an example, a lot of the YouTubers I watch that cover situations when they're talking about underage people, right? They tend to blur their kids' faces. So why not stick to blurring your kids' faces? That could be something. So that way, even if, say for example, your kids' friends like recognize you as their mom or their dad because you pick them up from school or something, right? Some random stranger wouldn't be able to see them walking out of school on their lonesome or something of the sort and figure out, oh my gosh, wow, this is this kid from this YouTube channel with millions of subscribers that I follow. That's one thing. And if you absolutely have to have their face, which in my opinion, I do not believe that there's an argument for that whatsoever, maybe wait till they're above a certain age. Like, for example, most kids, I'm not sure if it's legal or not, but I do believe it is a requirement for most people on the internet to be 13 and up. Of course, you're not gonna have people on the internet just 13 and up. I would know. I was definitely on the internet way younger than I should have been. That's a whole video for a whole another time. But maybe, as a cap, your kid has to be 13 and up to have their face unblurred on the internet, if you find that absolutely necessary. Another thing, you can't record your kid 24/7. I don't care how many videos you owe. I don't care how many videos you have to post. Figure out something else. Make your money another way instead of constantly exploiting your kid for the sake of making money. Because your kid should not be the one supporting your family. You should be. I was gonna end the video, but I decided to do a little bit of searching on the internet, and I found this on the subreddit r/TrueOffMyChest. And I believe that it better puts into perspective how I feel at least a decent amount of the kids of family vloggers feel. It's from a throwaway account. I'll put the information and post up on screen if you guys want to see it. But it is titled, "I was brought up by family vloggers and it ruined my life." I won't read the entire post, but I will go over some key points. In this post, the poster mentions that they started family vlogging when they were around 7, and they only really stopped 3 years ago because of a crisis involving mental health surrounding this channel. The poster mentions that they loved being the center of attention while they were on camera, but something else that they mentioned is that, I feel like this is important to quote directly, "I stopped loving it when I realized the only time I got attention was when the camera was on, and the only time I got toys was when I performed in the way I was meant to." The poster then goes on to bullet point some things that happened while they were involved in the family vlogging channel. A lot of it does hit very close to home, I will admit. One particular point that hit me very hard was, I couldn't talk to my mom about anything when my mental health began to get bad because I was too scared that she'd share it online. If I'd asked her not to, it wouldn't have made a difference. I now barely have a relationship with my mom. I have shared some mental health things that was going on with me with my mom, and those mental health things did indeed get recorded and posted. Another point is, the OP says, "I didn't have a single private moment. My mom woke me up with the camera on, and she often filmed right up until we went to sleep." This was also something that I had to experience as well, and I'm sure family vlogging channels that constantly do this are probably doing the same to their kids as well. And one thing that I would like to circle back to which I feel is a really important point to drive home. It's important to be careful about what you post online, because the world is a scary place. It's a dangerous place. There are sick people on here. And even if you don't intend it this way, they most certainly will. The OP says, she filmed us in the bath, and although she tried to get it off the internet, it's downloaded and online forever, because nothing you post on the internet can ever truly be deleted, especially when things like the Wayback Machine exist, especially when you can go and download whatever YouTube video you want on random sites. So if you click the ads, it'll give your computer malware. Now that's constantly online for whoever wants to see it and whoever wants to find it, because that's how the internet works. Another point involving child safety that the OP mentions. Someone attempted to kidnap my sister and found it easy because they knew her full name, address, school, and details about her. My sister didn't know he was a stranger because he knew too much about her. And then of course there's obviously a lot more that goes on in this comments, and I do believe I would like to try and do a whole separate video on this post and others like it as well. But all I can say for right now is that I do not believe that family vlogs should be a thing. I do not believe that the way that people are going about starting family vlogs and family YouTube channels are a good thing at all for the internet in general. Maybe there's somebody out there who's just doing it right. So far, I have not seen them. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying that a majority of what's out there is not doing the right thing. So once again, this is a topic that I would like to further expand on in a later video. But for right now, I'm gonna cut to the outro that I recorded before I decided to finish with this video. If YouTubers who have been doing YouTube willingly at their own accord for however long, RIP MatPat, are burnt out of doing YouTube, are burnt out of trying to be the machine that the YouTube algorithm demands that they be, how would a kid who isn't actively choosing to be a YouTuber feel about that? I just think that that's something we all should think about, something we all should talk about. I'm not educated enough on this topic to present many solutions, but this is a topic that I'm passionate about and something that I would like to try and help work towards seeing something done about it. Unfortunately, all I can really do for now, because I do not have the time or mental energy to do so, is to just post this video and ask you guys about it. So what do you guys think? Are there any particular YouTubers, family YouTubers, or family vloggers that you think might do this whole YouTubing thing properly when it comes to involving their kids? Or are there any particularly bad ones that I didn't get around to indirectly mentioning in my video? Go ahead and leave a comment about it down below. Or if you have made it just far and you don't really feel like having a conversation, why don't you just comment the word beans? Thank you all for watching, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.